All right, guys, welcome to the first Room 9 Shorty, and here are 3 things I learned from my addiction. Cue pointless B-roll. Let's go. First thing I had to work on was getting out of self-pity. Since my brother and sister died, I walked around acting like the world owed me something and I didn't have to work for anything. This was important because I knew if I didn't get out of this, nothing good ever comes from self-pity, nothing good can ever come from it, and it really just develops this self-righteousness, like, oh, I don't gotta work for anything, I don't gotta do anything, everybody should give me what I want when I want it. And how I got out of this was this. I started paying attention to how I talk to myself. Once I got into this negative thinking, I would stop myself with, but you deserve love, but you deserve acceptance, but you deserve forgiveness. And I would just start getting out of this mindset. And sometimes it took days, sometimes it took a week to even realize I was in it. But once I caught myself and changed the language I used to talk to myself with, like, you know, sometimes you'll knock over a glass of water or knock something over and you'll be like, you idiot. Like, that stuff matters because your ego will start identifying with it. So when you change how you talk to yourself, your whole world starts to change. And that's exactly what happened, is I started looking at things more positively. I started looking at negative things as an opportunity to learn, as an opportunity to grow, which that brings me on to my second step. The second part is kind of a 2-part thing. And what it really came down to was I realized 2 things kind of growing up, and then more so into my addiction and after why I started getting into recovery. And these things were this. I realized I had to learn to start crying again. Sometimes I realized it's been years since I cried, and I realized how much of a release that deep weeping is and how helpful it can be. And it's a tool. You know, like when you feel that pain that's just crushing down on you, that weight, and you sometimes turn it into frustration or anger, it usually means you need to cry. And I realized I'd teach myself to weep again. To go with that, I realized as I was weeping, as I was down on the ground, crying, feeling helpless, I had to lift my head up, open my eyes, and do the best I could to learn. And what this did was it taught me to take something painful, something hard, something difficult that seems very meaningless, and I was able to give that thing meaning. And that's what happens when you're in a situation, no matter what it is, if you can open your eyes and learn from it and allow it to teach you something, it becomes worth whatever it is you're going through. This was such a key component of my life, learning to weep, and then while I'm doing that, learning to learn, learning to be teachable, learning to be molded, learning to just discover what it is I can take from whatever the situation is that I'm in. That was a huge one. Let's go talk about number 3. The third biggest thing I learned was from a title of a chapter of a book that I read in rehab by this clinical psychologist I really like. And the chapter title was Compare Yourself to Who You Were Yesterday, Not to Who Somebody Else Is Today. And this really stuck with me because think about it, you walk around all the time seeing a persona that somebody's putting off as if they got it together, if they're doing everything right and they got no problems in life. And the majority of people you come across try to do this, and sometimes we do it without thinking. But nonetheless, when you compare yourself to everybody's best and you know your worst, it doesn't really add up. It's not an equal fight. It's not an equal comparison. So what I learned to do was, okay, what can I change now so that tomorrow when I look back, I realize I'm changing something? So I started just changing one little thing at a time. And this became something that added up. All of a sudden, a year goes by and you look at yourself and you're like, wow, I've really changed. Another awesome point of this is to not forget the things you've changed, because we do that a lot too. We change something and we get so used to it that we forget that we changed it. And this is an awesome reminder every day, because you're looking back at the yesterday you and seeing, wow, I changed this, that, and this over the last week. That's awesome, and it's encouraging. And those were the 3 things that I really learned to do, to implement into my life throughout my arrest and just going through rehab and just spending this time of introspection, learning and working on the things I needed to change. All right, guys, thanks for watching. This was the first Room 9 Shorty, a little series I wanted to start. Also have a vlog coming out. Also gonna be doing a bunch of other things to upload up on YouTube. Please like, please subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will be in touch soon. I really just wanted to start this channel to establish connection around mental health, substance use, even just personal development, anyone who's looking to better their individuality. And that's what this channel is all about. Also have a website, room9podcast.com, links below. Check out what we got going on there. Obviously, there's a podcast and everything else centered around all these topics. So I will be talking to you guys soon. Much love. Peace.